ever conduct na the history of Sierra Leone. 4 senior cabinet ministers went to make a mockery of the government of Sierra Leone. Because na mock them go mock themselves. You they can't talk, say you the minister of mines, gross immaturity. For come and tell we say President Julius Maada Bio in cabinet in January this year, then sign agreement for manage with railway with an entity wey not even sabi for run toys train na table. Hey! What immaturity is this? What can be worse of a self-mockery than this? Come on. Now the sycophants in into Boku, they no one tell una true. They can't say I'm pro-arise. Yes, I am pro-arise because for now, when I look the contract we then sign with pro-arise and how it for dovetail into the SI zone, it makes a lot of sense to me. That's all. It makes a lot of sense to me. But for me, una can't tell we now say this contract will una sign in January. Hey, this contract will una sign where the waitman and come and then talk now the presence of the president, international bankers, financiers, and a galaxy of potluck people say that this special investment zone it go work only if it dovetail into the railway. And then you guys come today and you call a press conference and you say some of what you said today. You did not know this in January when you put pen to paper. The sycophants in Imboku, they no one tell una true. The sycophants too much. But today was an embarrassment. The entire press conference, 4 senior cabinet ministers. Now una self una go mock. Una go mock una self because na una sign contract. Nobody no put gun down on aid say sign contract. No, you signed the contract voluntarily. You invited the people voluntarily. How now all of a sudden the contract where you sign, you want us the citizens for look you now say that contract the way you sign now with person way toys train self in sabi run, but you sign contract with and say like I can manage all we train railway assets. Hey. Bo, una not look funny. Una funny. Funny. Very, very funny. What a mess.
Our allies, our colleagues in the 4th Estate of the Republic of Sierra Leone. The government of Sierra Leone, through the Ministry of Information and Civic Education, has decided to convey this very special on-the-record press briefing. This is an on-the-record press briefing to provide extensive details to the people of Sierra Leone and beyond who have an interest in the port and rail agreement that's been the subject of multiple speculations and news in Sierra Leone and in our international media. As usual, the ambition of His Excellency the President is for us to continue to provide the people with credible, factual, timely, accurate, responsive information as and when you need them. And this is why we thought it fits to bring the principles, the people with the facts, to answer any and all questions that you, the distinguished members of our 4th Estates, may have, so that we do not continue to engage on an issue without the facts. I want to particularly thank all the senior editors and the owners of the respective media houses who have graced us today with your presence, especially at such remarkably short notice. My name is Cherno Abdullahi Bar. I am the Minister for Information and Civic Education for the government of Sierra Leone, and I have with me here members of the cabinets of the government of Sierra Leone. The first speaker I'm going to hand the microphone to is the country's Chief Law Enforcement Officer, our Attorney General and Minister of Justice. Our Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mr. Mohamed Lamin Toure. who's a distinguished legal professional, is going to talk first on the legal framework of the agreement. He's going to speak first on the legal framework and set the legal context and answer any legal questions afterwards that may be here pertaining this agreement and the context that we have. We will also turn to the distinguished Minister of Transport and Aviation, the retired Colonel Fande Toure, who will speak about the content of the agreement and the cabinet's conclusion, cabinet decision, and then obviously, I think I will say the star of our show, if you want to call it that, of this conference will be our Minister for Mines, the Honorable Julius Matai, who will provide very detailed context. And I'm aware he also has some images that he will want to share and some things that he want to share. So, without further ado, our Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
Good morning, Mr. Mediator. Thank you very much. Good morning, members of the press, my colleague ministers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen present. And as the moderator rightly says, we are here on different categories. But firstly, on my own part, is to dwell on the information that is that has been going out before today, that government has signed a contract for the rail and port with Kino Rail and Port. That evidentially is true. That contract was concluded by the government of Sierra Leone and executed between the government of Sierra Leone and Kino Rail and Port. You know, just to deal with the concern and allay the fears of the public, particularly all Sierra Leoneans within and beyond. The rail and port, we all know, is around the northern part of the country, and it has been a very crucial instrument or facility in our mining sector. And for nobody can overemphasize that, the importance of the rail and port in our mining sector. For far too long before today's date, that particular facility has been managed by private entities, wherein government has little or no control, and the people of Sierra Leone were just benefiting menially from the rail and port. However, with the inception of President Bio's government in 2018, government decided to take control, to take charge, and play a major role by regulating the rail and port facility for the mining sector. In order to do that, we've decided as a government to up our game in that sector. And government has one way to do that is to end the exclusive use of the rail and port by any private individual, depriving the rest and suffocating the state from and running affairs offline. That the rail and port agreement was signed initially by Arise IIP. That was in January of this year. But before January of this year, in 2021, the rail and port was again being managed by Kino Rail and Port. Moving on, an agreement was signed in January 2023 with Arise IIP. just to dispense with that concern that government had an agreement with Arise and government is signing another agreement for the use of the same facility with another company. Again, the agreement that was entered into with Arise has certain conditions. We all know that generally, and more importantly, contract for it to be effected, there has to be the meeting of minds. We all agree. Meeting of minds, among other things, include the conditions, the terms and conditions. There are various ways of doing a contract. There can be an implied or express term. But in this case, the agreement between the government of Sierra Leone and Arise, there were express terms in the agreement, boldly written in black and white, that for this agreement to succeed or to go on, for it to kick off, these are the conditions that must be satisfied against a